Ki, the leader of NLD, was put under house arrest and remains until this day, 2009. Myanmar has an area of 676,577 square kilometers, with a population around 54,745,000. The old capital was Yangon, while the new capital is Nay Pyi Taw. The Philippines archipelago is inhabited by Malays and Indonesians who migrated and settled down over 3,000 years before Christ. Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese sailor, arrived in 1521 and was killed because of conflict with native tribes after only a month. 40 years later, Spain took control and colonized almost all territories around 1571 AD. The name Jose Rizal is well known everywhere in the Philippines. He was a hero who mobilized nationalistic movements against the government until he was executed. Jose Rizal was a poet, a writer, an intellectual and academic, and radical activist against Spanish colonial control. Jose Rizal was arrested and imprisoned at this fort in Santiago and was executed on the 20th of December, 1896. However, the Philippines still did not receive independence. After losing the war with the USA, Spain handed the Philippines over to the USA to rule in exchange for $20 million in December 1898. During the Second World War, Japan seized the Philippines, but later lost the war to the USA. The Philippines then became fully independent on the 4th of July, 1946. Manuel Rosas was chosen to be the first president of the Philippines. The Philippines was one of the 5 founding member countries. The Philippines has an area of 300,000 square kilometers, with a population of 82,664,000. The capital city is Manila. A statue in memory of Sir Stanford Raffles stands tall on the bank of the Singapore River. As representative of Sir Warren Hastings, the governor of India at the time, Sir Raffles was tasked with the mission to establish a port on the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula to ship and distribute goods to and from China, India, and Britain, as well as to act as a buffer state to the Dutch, who were the main rivals with Britain in Southeast Asia. After surveying the whole area, Sir Stanford Raffles decided to land the ship at this location on the 29th of January, 1819. 9 days later, on the 6th of February, he signed a treaty with Sultan Hussein of Johor and Temenggung Abdur Rahman, the ruler of Singaputra at the time. Singapore became part of the British colony 5 years later. On the 1st of September 1962 AD, 73% of Singaporeans voted for Singapore to merge with Malaysia, but eventually separated itself 2 years later on the 9th of August 1965. The 6th of February, 1819, is the day the Singapore state was born. The 9th of August, 1965, is the National Day of Modern Singapore. Singapore joined Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines in founding the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. The populations of Singapore include Malay, Chinese, Indian, and Western European, a variety of nationals, a number of languages, a diversity of cultures, all blending to become Republic of Singapore, a country that is wealthy, clean, beautiful, socially well organized, and living peacefully together in the ASEAN way. Total area is 697 square kilometers. Population is 4,240,000. The capital city is Singapore.
Desa kerinduan, gemalainya berjalan kehidupan. Bertamasyalah anak desa yang setia.
The entrance to the Kingdom of Siam by the Great River, which divides the country east and west, brings the traveler at once into all richness and variety of tropical nature, and is well suited to produce an impression of a singular beauty and the vast resources of the land of the white elephant, for this is the name which may properly be given to the kingdom since the flag of the country has been established. A very curious flag. It makes the white elephant on a red field. This is how George B. Bacon described the Siam that he saw in 1857. Concerning the beauty of Siam in those days, George Bacon said, "But nothing is harder to convey in words the indescribable charm of tropical life and scenery. Bangkok was the capital city of Siam, after Ayutthaya, that flourished for 417 years before, and Sukhothai 300 years before that. Kong Thai, or Kon Thai, was a free tribe that migrated from southern China, known as Ai Lao, or elder brother tribesmen. From the glory of the kingdom of Ai Lao in southern China to the fall of the Nan Chao kingdom and Ta Li Fu in 1234 AD. 25 years after the event, Sukhothai became the capital of Siam, with great prosperity through to the present Ratanakosin era, the Kingdom of Thailand. Thailand initiated the regional cooperation in Southeast Asia by inviting friendly neighboring countries to jointly found the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, in 1957, 185 years after Ratanakosin was established. The Kingdom of Thailand has an area of 513,254 square kilometers, with a population of 64,469,000. The capital city is Bangkok. history of modern Vietnam can be linked to the life and time of Ho Chi Minh, the leader of activists who fought against French colonial powers until Vietnam gained full independence in 1954. But the land that is Vietnam today has been occupied for the past 5,000 to 6,000 years. The ancient Vietnamese culture can be found in the northern region. The Cham built the Champa Kingdom in the central region towards the end of the 4th century. Ancient Vietnam was ruled by Chinese imperialists for several centuries. Ngo Dynasty, Ninh Dynasty, Prelay Dynasty. Struggle for independence succeeded during the Song Dynasty ruled Chinese Empire. Time passed by, and the colonialism by Western forces evolved into Southeast Asia. France colonized Vietnam 800 years after being independent from Chinese imperialist domination. President Ho Chi Minh led Vietnamese Communist Party, and the people defeated the French at Dien Bien Phu. And the 1954 Geneva Accords was signed, giving independence to Vietnam, while the USA continued to dominate southern Vietnam, south of the 17th parallel. North Vietnam continued to fight against the USA and southern Vietnam military forces until the country was united in April 1975. Modern Vietnam is a mixed cultural society, Chinese influence, together with various local ethnic groups. Buddhism, Confucius, Tao, Christianity, and Islam are practiced and respected by the Vietnamese people. Vietnam is growing from being an agricultural society to trading and industrialized society. Vietnam became the 7th member on the 28th of July, 1995. Vietnam has an area of 330,363 square kilometers, with a population of 80,022,000. Capital city is Hanoi. The 10 members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations have traveled along the same path together for 41 years and unanimously agreed to adopt the ASEAN Charter as the official document applicable for all activities of ASEAN. The ASEAN Charter bears the same importance as the United Nations Charter, but applies only to 10 member states, whereas the UN Charter is applicable worldwide. ASEAN was born from the idea and effort of the governments of the member countries, but ASEAN has developed to this day with different vision. In attempts to let the peoples of all 10 member countries participate more as much as possible. ASEAN Charter stated that ASEAN belongs to the people, allowing the peoples of all 10 nations to come and go freely and exchange ideas and knowledge with each other in the same manner that the leaders of their governments collaborate their efforts into establishing a unified society known as ASEAN Community.
สามารถสร้างประชาคมอาเซียนของเรานี่ให้บรรลุได้ตามกำหนดเวลาและคาดหมายที่วางไว้
แล้วผมมีความหวังแล้วผมก็มีวิสัยทัศน์ว่าอาเซียนจะเจริญเติบโตต่อไป
ASEAN will be on track and be closer to realizing the vision and dreams of our founding fathers to build an ASEAN community of sharing and caring societies.
The ASEAN community moves to a reality from this moment on. ASEAN nations will gradually encapsulate their feelings of being a unified community among splendid diversity in geography,